Ooh, I'm trying to expel the thetans from my being. Ooh. Hey, I'm obviously making a reference to Scientology there. I don't think they use plasma globes as any part of their sort of theatrics, but they do use in something called the O-meter when you're getting audited. And I've talked about Scientology, I think, in some of my past videos. I've been making these videos for about 5 or 6 years, so Scientology is particularly a source of amusement, and I scorn it quite a bit over the years. Years ago, why I'm making this video, of course, is that there's an upcoming movie called Going Clear. The Prison of Belief. It's about Scientology. It's based on the book of the same name. It's going to be on HBO. I'm not just promoting an HBO movie, but it's on HBO. And this has been a very highly scrutinized organization for years, founded by L. Ron Hubbard, who was a science fiction author, which I'm sure you all know. If you know anything about Scientology, you know about L. Ron Hubbard, self-help book Dianetics, and the story of Xenu, the galactic overlord, who sent aliens from billions of years ago from another galaxy here in spaceships, and I guess threw them into volcanoes and dropped hydrogen bombs. It's a goofy fucking story. It's really stupid, but if you look it up on YouTube or anywhere online, there is it's from the 80s. There's a short sort of animated video, and I don't know if it was designed for children who were in Scientology or not, but that's supposed to be the information after you get to these, well, they're called OT levels. OT levels, I think the highest level is 7, I'm pretty sure, like Kirstie Alley and Tom Cruise and John Travolta, and they're probably most fairly well-known celebrity members of the Church of Scientology are supposedly operating Thetan level 7. And you find out that we're all aliens, and that's what it's about. The Thetans are the souls of dead aliens, if I'm correct. And that's why we're so confused, because they entered into early humans, because Xenu captured the souls and soul catchers and just created this false reality. And there's a name for the planet Earth that L. Ron Hubbard referred to it as, and I just have to look it up here. Name for Luigi. Sorry, I had to look it up. Should have looked this up before if I was going to reference it, but it is, I'm trying to find it. There's a strange name he called it. There's blah blah. He had some strange name for the planet Earth. It was some strange name. I'd have to look it up again. It's in the animated short. You can find it on YouTube. And of course, you got to watch, if you haven't ever seen it, which most people have, is Tom Cruise's Scientology video where he's wearing the turtleneck and he's talking about like KSW, keeping Scientology working. Because if you're driving past a car crash, man, and you're the only one that could do anything. It's like, now there's paramedics and first responders. I don't think the star of Cocktail is the one they really want to see when they have blood spurting from them and shit, and their compound fracture. They think they would rather see somebody else. I mean, and but he's really intense in this video, and he doesn't really say anything in the video. He just talks about how being a Scientologist is a privilege. And a lot of other celebrities and other documentaries about Scientology have said the same thing and sort of obfuscate when, I can't pronounce that word right, when it's ever scrutinized or the interviewer tries to bring up Xenu, because they have usually whenever anyone is being interviewed about former members, people who have defected from the church, basically, whenever they're interviewed, and I don't think this guy's actually in charge anymore, but Ann Archer's son, actress Ann Archer's son, she was in Fatal Attraction, a lot of more 80s movies, but she's a well-known actress. Her son is named Tommy Davidson, and he's head of the Scientology Celebrity Center, and he's the one who intercepts a lot of these exposés whenever they're doing them. 60 Minutes has done them, a lot of Anderson Cooper, everybody. I mean, Jenna Miscavige, who is David Miscavige, who is the current head of Scientology. He took over when L. Ron Hubbard died in 1986. She's the niece of David David Miscavige, who was at one of Tom Cruise's weddings. I think when he married Katie Holmes, he was supposedly his best man or something like that. He was there, and he's pretty close with Tom Cruise. He's seen at events with him, and he's around. And David Miscavige is an evil, evil, evil man, and he should be imprisoned for the things he's done, the practices in the church, and all of that. His niece was of course, young. She was growing up in it, and she didn't see her parents much, and they were basically at these sort of camps. There were sort of labor camps and things like that, and there's all these sorts of different branches of the Church of Scientology. It's a freaking cult. But there's the re-education center. They send you there if they think you're being a suppressive person. They call them SPs, suppressive person. If you're questioning it, they basically re-audit you, and you're interviewed, and this is recorded. And they usually new people coming into the church, they do this and get information on them. And supposedly they have some touchy information on Tom Cruise and John Travolta, and that's something they can use against them if they decide to leave at certain points in time. So I think they've stayed with it. But the celebrity end of it, they're just treated really well, and basically they're there to represent, endorse it. Of course, that's the only. It's of course perfectly logical. Why else would they need celebrities? And the church is about money, and they have a lot of real estate holdings. Obviously, they have a lot of centers. They have a big, basically a small sort of town of sorts in Clearwater, Florida. Scientology. That's like, Scientology in Clearwater, Florida is like, Salt Lake City Utah is to Mormons. It's just, and I think Mormonism's about just as crazy too. But in any case, they are, obviously a very controlling organization. They claim and they manipulate. They put out this very false. Basically, if you go to their website, because I took their test, actually years ago, I took the Scientology personality test online, probably 7 plus 8 years ago. And because somebody told me, they'll call you up. Because you do put down your information, your phone number and your name and all that bullshit before you can take the test. It's just a basic personality test that you would take for bonding if you were going to go for a new job, or if you were getting any sort of basic psychological tests. A psychologist or psychiatrist might administer the same test, basically. It's all it is. Strongly disagree, to strongly agree, that type of thing, and all in the middle. Not sure, that type of stuff. It's a bunch of shit. But they called me and I live in Pennsylvania, so there's a Scientology center in Philadelphia on Race Street, and I always remember that because this guy called me from the Church of Scientology, said, "Oh, this is Keith from the Church of Scientology," and he spoke in this mumbling sort of low voice, and I was like, "What?" I almost dropped the phone. Chill went down my spine. I didn't think I was going to get a phone call from these people for some reason. I wasn't as familiar with it. I knew it was, they were pretty tenacious if they were trying to hang on to a member because they were trying to get money out of you, but I didn't give them 1 red cent yet. They don't even know if I have any money, and I didn't. But called me up, and this dude said, "I'm Keith from the Church of Scientology." It's like, yeah, I was just looking into it. I was just taking the test. I was curious about it. Just wanted a little information on the organization. I'm not interested in joining now, and that's basically how I diffused it, because I didn't want anything to do with that shit at all. And so after that, and I was told though by people that they will try to follow you and try to keep, like if they see this video on YouTube that I'm talking about it where I'm scrutinizing it, I would be considered an SP, a suppressive person. If I was a high profile person, like if I was, somebody in the media, somebody, an actor or someone speaking out against it and making this video, they would come after me. They would try to sue me for libel and call me a bigot and try to hurt my future, my career in some way and discredit you. That's basically what they do, and that's why Tom Cruise and John Travolta and I don't know about Kirstie Alley. She didn't even seem to have much of a career. I've been doing like Jenny Craig ads and shit, and she's a dingbat anyway. But so. But it is crazy. It's a strange phenomenon, and I don't. It's been banned in Germany from what I understand, and it does, I think, need to be dissolved because it's just basically there to take people's money. It's cost people usually to get to OT level 7, from what I understand. Cost about $350,000, somewhere in that neighborhood, and on average it costs about $50,000 a year. And if you're a wealthy person, they're going to get more money out of you because people have known writers and producers and people that work within the entertainment industry who had money, and that's what they want. They just, keep the checks coming. It's just basically what it is. And it's really strange and disturbing that this odious organization exists, and they have so much power in these facilities to keep practicing this and torturing people and punishing them in these strange ways in the name of self-improvement of some kind. I don't know. Basically, that's kind of what the overall premise is of it, and that you have alien souls. We all have alien souls in us, I guess, and those are what's given us this false history and everything like that. So it's some serious. I can't believe someone. And if you read up on Scientology and you read up on it online and stuff like that, you realize how much bullshit it is because there's so much that's come out about it. I mean, it was incepted in 1954 by Hubbard, and who was a science fiction author, and he was even quoted as saying, there's another quote that's famous, but I think this one, it's something about to enslave people, you promise them total freedom. He said something to that effect at one point, and he said that the real money is in creating a religion, because he was just a pulp fiction science fiction writer, making so much per word at the time, and he said the real money is in creating a religion. And a lot of these churches, there's a lot of these churches, they get a lot of money. Mormon Church does, even Jim Jones did, the Jonestown guy. He took people's, he was able to facilitate everything by getting people's assets and accruing them, and that's what they do. And there's just like, your money's your money. I mean, if you have your own means, your own ability to sustain yourself, you don't need the fucking Church of Scientology. You don't need any organization that's telling you that they're trying to convince you that you need them. That's the whole thing. They have to create all this doubt in you, and that's really key. That is very key. Religions and all these sorts of things, to control you, even if you're a successful person, and even smart, successful people are can succumb to this. They have to create all of this doubt in you about yourself and things in your life that haven't worked out to lure you in. And of course they want more successful people, because I mean the woman, and this is another strange example, and I don't know if this how true this is, but her name's Nancy Cartwright, I think that's her name. She does the voice for Bart Simpson. She's this, she actually pretty much just sounds like Bart Simpson if you ever hear her interview. And she's been on and The Simpsons is a show that scrutinizes organizations like this in a way. It always kind of made fun of religion and corporations and things like that, and called them on their shit. And this is Bart Simpson, who is a key character in The Simpsons. He's pretty much the star of the whole show for over 20 years, well over 20 years, 28 years just about. And And she's part of this, and she thinks that she's been reincarnated over and over again. She thinks that, she's lived before and she's going to live again, and she's given the church somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 million. I mean, I don't know how much money she's worth, but that's a huge chunk of change. And I mean, a fool and their money are easily parted, because I would never give $10 million away to something stupid like that. But it is just a strange phenomenon. Religion is overall, and the Church of Scientology is an example. It's like only in America could something like this exist. I think it's true, because this is where it was born, and it's spread, and other nations are trying to really get rid of it. And they managed to get a dubious tax-exempt status in the United States. As far as I know, that still holds, that still stands. And hopefully this Going Clear documentary on HBO, and I hope a lot of people see it, and I'd encourage anybody out there to go watch any documentary, read any articles, books on it, and really see this organization for what it is, because I think it's done a lot of harm to people. It's harmed children. It's harmed adults as well. It's taken people's assets and squandered them on their own, for their own personal gain, building buildings and all that shit. And I mean, they have a fleet of ships too. He does. He has several ships. L. Ron Hubbard did. I don't know if they still have them, but it's insane, and it needs. I hope the Church of Scientology comes to an end. I just want it to go away. They're a terrible, terrible organization. But in the meantime, I guess I'm just going to have to exorcise my thetans, expel them from my body so I'm not confused anymore. Woo!